And if we add up all of the sales so far, we get a grand total of how much? Hi folks, welcome back to the bench. We're of course today going to be talking about the famous Jim Irsay collection that's just gone under the hammer at Christie's. I can tell you that those prices they've gone for were absolutely bananas. 4 times we had to film this, I kept dropping me banana. Yes, I'm sure you've probably heard of the record-breaking amount of guitars that have gone, including the new highest ever guitar to sell at auction. And that will of course be Mr. Dave Gilmour's Black Strat. It was originally purchased back in the day for $800 after Pink Floyd's gear was stolen, selling in 2019 for $4 million. It has sold today for the hammer price of, drum roll, $14.5 million. That is an awful lot of... See what I did there? I tell you what, you wouldn't like to be stood there bidding and suddenly get an itch. I have 10 million on the floor, 11 million on the floor, 14.5 million from the man scratching his nose. There was plenty more where that came from, including the phenomenal Jerry Garcia Tiger. That went for a whopping $11.56 million. Also on the cards was Kurt Cobain's Mustang from the Smells Like Teen Spirit video, and that went for an eye-watering $6,907,000. I mean, just imagine getting back home and telling the wife what you'd spent that day. How was the auction, love? Oh, it was all right. A couple of pieces came up. Did you have anything? Oh, I won a few. You'd have to sell them all to pay for the divorce. Well, I would anyway. I will now do a rundown for some of the other iconic models that were there. We had Eric Clapton's MTV Unplugged Martin Treble 042, and that went for $4,101,000 US. Eric Clapton's SG The Fool, such an iconic imagery, and that went for a simple $3,003,000. I like the $3,000 at the end. Dave Gilmour's Wish You Were Here Martin, the D35, and that went for $2,393,000. I mean, this is just pocket change, isn't it, for some people? We then get to some iconic guitars featuring the legendary Beatles, and these will be in quick pace, so do forgive me. We've got George Harrison's 1964 Gibson SG Standard, John Lennon's 1964 Rickenbacker model 1996, George Harrison made a Master Sound, John Lennon's 1963 Gresh 6120 Chet Atkins, and the Beatles' 1966 Vox Kensington prototype. And the grand total for just that part of the catalogue was $5,700,000. I'll tell you what, if my wife found out I'd have spent that much, help, I'd definitely be singing that at the top of my voice. Can you imagine how Jim the owner must have been halfway through this auction? Can I buy anything for 20 quid? And then you see one of your friends across the room and try and grab his attention. We have 1 million, that's 2,000,005, 4 million to the man at the back. And if that wasn't enough, we top it off with Prince's custom Yellow Cloud Electric, which was $635,000. The Edge's 1976 Carina Gibson Explorer, $635,000 again. Johnny Cash's 1956 Martin D21 at only $215,900. I'd probably struggle with just the $900. And a Gibson circa 1954 Les Paul custom prototype, which went for $152,400. So I wonder how much we'd get for this guitar. It has been played by me after all. We'll start at £50, £20, £10, £5, anything, anyone. I'll give you 20 pence. And if we add up all of the sales, we get a grand total of $49,852,300. So with my calculations and converting to Great British pounds, which is where we are, That is £37,289,520. And there we have it, folks. That is the auction over and done with. So let us know your thoughts. What do you think went above the asking price? Can you put a price on some of these iconic instruments and in the hands of the musicians that have told their stories on them? Would you yourself consider buying something like this at auction, or are you just happy to play normally like I am? As always, thank you very much for joining us. I'm Jamie, your local music shopkeeper. We'll see you next time. Happy playing. And just remember, if you want to spend millions of dollars or pounds, the door is always open to you. See you soon, folks.